On your left.
On my left. Got it. Don't say it. Don't you say
On
it.
your left.
Come on!
What's up, guys? It's Quinn.
And it's Alex.
It's Iconic Comic, and we're back with the On Your Left podcast. This is episode number 5.
What was that? We're back.
Did I do that?
We're back.
Sorry. But we're back with episode number 5. This has been a big week for us.
It has been giant. Yeah, it's been big. We just got done with mailing out our T-shirts to our 4 fans that won our giveaway, and one of them has a special item. We're not going to say who or what it was. It's only for them
personal.
to know. It's personal.
That sounds weird.
Okay, it's not personal. Okay, it's a geek gift item. Okay,
Yeah.
That's what it was. So we just got those all squared away. But don't you worry, you listeners or subscribers on YouTube. We're going to start, or we actually just started our pre-orders for our T-shirts. And with this pre-order, you'll actually save a little bit of money when you do the pre-order. And it's 10 days. So on the 20th, the pre-order will end.
Yep. So you can find the website or our store website through our normal iconiccomic.com website. There's just a link that says store. You press it, and it'll take you right to the Shopify store. But you can also find the link. We've posted things about the pre-orders on Facebook and Twitter, and it'll be the first thing that you see in our description boxes in YouTube up until the end of the pre-order date, which is the 20th of July. So make sure you get there before then, because you'll get to save a little bit of money, because after that it'll be at our regular price. So go check that stuff out. All right. So
plug
over.
Let's get into the show. So I kind of want to talk about Spider-Man just a little bit more. Not spoilers.
Thwip.
Not really about the movie itself. If you guys want to check that out, we did a spoiler review and a non-spoiler. So go ahead and check those out. We're just plugging away.
I know, man. This is a shameless plug episode, apparently.
But so I'm not really going to talk about the movie itself, but we did a segment called Waiting the Line. We did it for Guardians. We talked to...
Plug number 3.
Well, I'm talking about the segment that we did. We did it for Guardians. We did it for Rogue One.
We did it for... we didn't do it for Wonder Woman.
Not Wonder Woman.
Because we're sexist, apparently.
I thought
was it only those two?
I thought we did it for another one.
We did it for another one.
No, we didn't. I guess we did. Anyway. So we were asking people. So the way we started to do it was we get to the movie early and ask people in line that were waiting with us. But now, since they were doing the assigned seating,
keep talking. I think we did another one. I'm just looking.
Okay. Since they started doing the assigned seating at the theater, there was really no need to get to the theater early and save our seats or save our spot in line 6 hours prior to the movie.
It's weird.
Yeah. So now what we're doing is there's a showing that usually plays before ours, because we usually do the 10:15 showing, but there's a 7 o'clock showing usually before ours. So we were getting people that just came out of that showing, and we were asking them scale of 1 to 10, how was the movie and why. We asked them what connects them to Spider-Man personally, and then who is the next villain that you want to see on the big screen. And before Spider-Man Homecoming was even announced, I always had I've always had this idea that Kraven the Hunter would be a really cool villain to see on the big screen, on camera. And I think 2 or 3 other people actually said that they would want to see Kraven the Hunter as the next villain. Here's my thing, though. It would probably have to wait a long time.
Yeah.
Like, quite a few years, because Spider-Man is not... Clearly, he's not big yet in the MCU right now. He needs to be well established in the world.
If Kraven's out there, he doesn't even know about Spider-Man yet.
He doesn't even know. He has no idea.
He might know after Infinity War, but...
Maybe. I don't know.
Here's my thing on the Kraven part of it, is just that I don't think that should be the second movie villain.
No, not the second, but maybe the third.
Yeah, because I think that should be his like bane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That should be his toughest test to this point. I think the second movie villain should still be like almost Vulture level, like B or C list villains that are in the comic books. We don't need to see Green Goblin again. At least now we don't at this point, because we've seen him twice already, and the first one was okay, but build towards hopefully a good Sinister Six movie down the road, and then have Norman Osborn be the one to form it.
Yeah.
We don't need a standalone Green Goblin movie again. But in Venom, that can see the Venom thing's tough right now. It's really hard to even discuss it with all the. Who does he belong to? Is he in the MCU? Is he not in the MCU? Is he kind of? Is it like the Netflix characters? Is he like he's there but he's not there? It's tough because they have casted Tom Hardy as Venom, but Tom Holland came out and said, as of now, I know nothing about Venom being involved in the MCU.
Right.
So it's like, it just makes me go, like, seriously, Sony, like, we all, like, what is Venom without Spider-Man?
Nothing.
And this is why I'm like, Sony's never really understood the character.
No, they don't. They really don't.
They want money, and they want to be meddle with it, and, you know, that's why we get Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2, where it's like, instead of focusing on one great villain, they're like, oh no, all the fans want 5 villains in the same movie, but no build up or anything. Just throw them in. The fans will love it. Trust us.
See, they can do that in comic books on the page. They can do that.
But because we've had years of backstory with these villains already, we haven't had movies of backstory yet.
Even in the comic books, you turn the page and Peter Parker's nowhere on that page. You're in a science lab where Dr. Connor, Kurt Connors. Yeah. He's messing with this syringe with green stuff in it, and that's all the backstory that you really need on the page. But you know that. You get so much more out of just this little snippet. But on the big screen, it's got to be different. We really do.
It's got to feel real.
We need backstory. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 did a good job of that, I think.
Oh, I love the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was really cool. Now, here's my thing, though. Because I would love to see the Lizard again.
I think they should wait a while, though, because it's been too soon.
They need to wait, but I just don't want those villains to be ruined. Like Green Goblin, I would love to see a Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Now,
someone said, like, imagine, like, Matthew McConaughey as Norman Osborn. I know you're not a huge Matthew McConaughey guy, but I think that's a great fan cast. Or someone else said Javier Bardem. You know him, right? He was the bad guy in Skyfall, and he was the bad pirate in the newest Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yep.
As Doc Ock.
Ooh,
I could see that for
good.
sure. But someone brought up Gerard Butler as Kraven the Hunter.
Yes, that's right.
That's a fantastic fan cast.
Yeah, like, what did I say? Joe Manganiello. He was in. I'm gonna throw out a reference. He was in One Tree Hill for a little bit.
He was in Spider-Man,
and
the first Spider-Man.
Oh, and Spider-Man.
He's Flash Thompson.
Yeah. Or who else did I say? Who else? I said one other person. Look, scruffy.
Yeah.
Kind of a built guy. But then my thing is, though, with Spider-Man villains in the comic books or the games, every villain was his toughest test to date.
Yeah.
That's how much stake they put in. Even the Shocker, which, I guess not really a spoiler because you saw the Shocker in the trailers.
But in 3 movies, the Shocker will feel like tissue paper to Spider-Man.
Right.
But in this movie, he was a test.
Mm-hmm. But with when you're doing the villains like that, you need to have a lot of stake in each of the villains.
Up the ante.
You do have to up the ante. So what I don't want to happen is, like, keep having villains like Shocker that, like, he didn't beat him easily, but, you know, I think this movie, it was the best Spider-Man for a lot of reasons. One of them was that he took his time with his characters. I think, or I am mixing this up completely. Marvel took their time with the villains in this movie, I feel like.
Well, yeah. And well, here's the thing, and I don't think Sony ever understood this. It's a close contest. I would give the slight edge to Batman, but it's very close contest between Batman and Spider-Man for the best villains in comics.
If you think about it, they're almost the only people that have villains.
Like, specific to... I'm not...
Not specific.
But the number that are specific to their character. Just the vast number of villains that are specific to their character. Because, like, the other Marvel, like, you got Red Skull for Captain America and the Mandarin for Iron Man and, you know, things like that. But...
And the Reverse Flash for Flash.
Yeah, but it's just not the sheer numbers.
Aquaman, the BP oil spill.
Oh my god.
I mean, big villain there.
But the sheer number of just amazing villains and amazing backstories for these villains, they have such a pool to choose from. And what I'm hoping for is that Sony doesn't because it's going to be, unless Marvel just bucks up and gives Sony a blank check and said, look, we're taking him back. Like, he is ours fully. I don't even know if there's an amount of money that Sony would take for that, because especially after how good this movie is going to do, they're going to make bank. So I'm not sure there's a number that they would put on that. And I don't even know if Marvel, because here's the deal: Marvel didn't need Spider-Man. They didn't need Spider-Man for the MCU. The MCU, if Spider-Man, if this deal never happened, the MCU would still be great right now. And we'd be going towards Infinity War and be all hyped and everything. But it's nice to have him. It's nice to have him. Sony needed Marvel, however.
Yeah. Because
since I think every movie since the first Spider-Man has made less and less domestically until this one, hopefully. I think they're talking about $120 million opening weekend.
It's gonna get traction.
Which is, here's the thing, it's rewatchability factor too for this movie. It's summertime. It's hot outside. Kids want to go to the movies. What are they going to want to go see? This movie over and over and over again. Yeah. It's going to have that rewatchability factor. Unlike, I'm trying to think of a movie that didn't have the rewatchability factor, like Amazing Spider-Man 2, like that one, or Spider-Man 3, and even the Amazing Spider-Man to an extent, just because it was a reboot and it was really, really close to the last franchise. Yeah. But so is this one. It's been 3 years, so I don't know. I'm glad that Spider-Man is home, no pun intended. And I know that Sony is pretty much going, here, Marvel, you do what you want. We'll reap the benefits. We'll collab if need be. If we feel like there's something weird, we'll step in and we'll collab. But other than that,
that bothers me so much.
Yeah,
it just bothers me.
Because Kevin Feige and those guys over at Marvel, I mean, when they're in the writers' rooms for when they're writing these scripts and movies, they have comic books laid out, and they have people in there who've been reading comics their whole life, and they know how these characters are and everything. I can tell you, and this is not a fact, but I can tell you that Sony did not have that going on.
Oh no!
When they were making their Spider-Man movies.
And the thing is, though, I bet
organic web. You go.
Okay, I still didn't mind that. Now
I don't mind it.
It did bother
but
me.
It's weird.
It did bother me when it just kind of stopped working, as a
double entendre. It's like he couldn't get it up.
Exactly.
He had a mental block.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah, the organic web. Look, it doesn't bother me. I just think it's weird.
Oh, I remember what I was saying. So in the Marvel writers' room, I bet they're doing they're bouncing ideas off each other, and then it's like, oh man, if only we had Spider-Man, that'd be really cool. Or the Fantastic Four, that'd be cool.
Well, when they were writing Civil War, they had 2 drafts, one with and one without Spider-Man, because the deal was going on. And it wasn't finalized yet, so they couldn't they couldn't go with that one yet. And you remember they casted Spider-Man in the middle of them filming Civil War. It was
right
4 months into filming, which is fine because he was only in the movie for 15 minutes, which was fine. It was great. And what I've heard is that slightly more than Civil War, but it'll be a similar type of situation with Infinity War in Spider-Man. he's not going to be in it from start to finish, and it doesn't make sense for him to be in it from start to finish. The only people it makes sense for it to be start to finish are like Thanos and the key Avengers that we've seen. I feel like it's gonna be very similar. Like Iron Man's gonna show up at Peter Parker's house and be like, "All right, suit up. It's time to go."
I think Ant-Man could be okay to go and fight Thanos.
What I've heard is that Ant-Man's gonna be at the start of Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is the next movie after Infinity War. He's gonna be a fugitive of the law, which I guess that's after Civil War. I mean, he is a fugitive of the law because Captain America broke him out of prison and all that stuff. So that's gonna be weird because. You know, he kind of like straightened himself out, but look, that's the only kind of issue I have with that part of Civil War, even how funny it was, whereas it was like he had finally straightened himself out and, you know, he was getting time with his daughter and everything and just so nonchalantly went like, well, you know, let's just break the law, you know what I mean? But at the same time I go...
If that were you?
Like Captain America standing in front of you going, I need you.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Say, you know what? Nah.
When freedom calls, you answer.
Exactly, motherfucker.
Oh, man. But, yeah. Ant-Man can definitely do some damage.
Especially if he turns into
Giant Man.
Spoilers if you haven't seen Civil War. If you haven't seen Civil War, get off my channel.
Was that 2 years ago?
It was last year.
Last year?
Yeah, last summer.
Yeah. I keep having these thoughts, and then you continue talking, and then I forget them. It's okay. Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot.
Sorry.
Damn it.
Well, let's just talk about going forward. So, after this Spider-Man movie, which we're not going to go into a review because you can go watch a review for that.
Plug.
But it was plug. It was my favorite Spider-Man movie. It's close. It's not close to any of the other ones, but I would say Spider-Man 2 is second still. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they went, I'm still debating whether Spider-Man 2 or this one's better, and I went, shut the fuck up. Like, if you think, in my opinion, if you think Spider-Man 2 is a better Spider-Man movie than this Spider-Man movie, you don't understand Spider-Man.
No.
Because, don't get me wrong, I love Spider-Man 2. Doc Ock is amazing in Spider-Man 2. That train scene is amazing in Spider-Man 2. The build-up and character of... Like, Doc Ock was such a cool villain in Spider-Man 2 because you felt for him. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to Michael Keaton's Vulture in this movie. He was, you know... It wasn't his fault. He was just kind of thrown into this and given this, like... This option. Like, you know what? I gotta be a bad guy.
It's like, I'm gonna be the greatest villain ever.
Exactly. And then he sacrifices himself at the end of Spider-Man 2. Like, he just goes, you know, drown it in the river. And then he's going to go do it. He's like, no, I'll do it. And, like, that scene still gives me chills because back then, was it 2004, when a superhero movie comes out, what usually happens? The superhero beats the bad guy.
And gets thrown in jail. And
exactly. But it was
such
a
cool
cool
I would have
twist.
gotten away with it if you weren't for you meddling kids and
your
that
dumb dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going forward, we have the 2 Avengers films that Spider-Man will be in, and then 2 more Spider-Man films. It'll be a trilogy, is what they've said. And that's it with the deal so far. Now, are they going to extend the contract? Most likely. Sony would be pretty dumb.
The new Avengers?
Here's the thing. If Sony decides, you know what, we're pulling it out. We're pulling Spider-Man out. Nope, sorry. Like, the amount of backlash they would get from the fans, and if they made another Spider-Man movie and it was outside of the MCU, like, they recasted Spider-Man by themselves, and which, doesn't that make you mad just thinking about it?
Please stop.
They recast Spider-Man and they make their own Spider-Man movie again. They said, screw you, Marvel, we're doing it again because everybody loves Spider-Man again. Nope, that movie will make less money than Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 2 or like it'll make less money.
If Sony decides to basically fuck us.
Screw the pooch.
Do you want to start a petition?
No. No. Petitions are the dumbest thing on the planet, especially when it comes to movies in Hollywood. You think those guys give a shit about petitions? They make millions of dollars, and it's just like, oh, look at this. There's 1,000 names on here. Hey, can you go throw this away for me?
There's
Thanks.
1,000, but then what if 1,000,000?
They won't care. They won't care.
What about 300 million?
Here's the deal, and I know this is kind of going back on what I said, but movies are made by people with creative ideas, and it's their creative ideas. They're not about to put their creative ideas aside if you were a director of a movie, would you put your creative ideas aside if someone brought a petition to you and said, "Here, I want you to change your ideas as a director for these people"?
No, I mean as a company, not a director, a company.
No, because I don't want the company involved. I do not want Sony involved.
Why not?
I do not want any company involved. Marvel's involved, but to a small extent. Kevin Feige oversees things, but he lets his directors direct. Sony, in the past, has said, all right, go for it. And then they watch the dailies and go, I think it would be better if we put Venom in like the last 15 minutes of this movie. No, I don't want... they forced Sam Raimi to put Venom in the last 15 minutes of the movie in Spider-Man 3. Sony is the reason behind it.
We were mixing up. I didn't explain myself right, and I didn't know what you were saying. You didn't know what I was saying. But now I see what you're saying, and yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, so...
But you still didn't see what I was saying.
No, so I don't give a fuck.
Story of my life.
Yeah, but going forward, I think the 2 Avengers films with Spider-Man in them, I think he will be in the 4th one more than in the first Infinity War movie. I think Avengers 4 Untitled, whatever it's going to be, it's going to connect to Infinity War. They just got rid of the Part 1, Part 2. I think he will be in it a lot more, and I think the trilogy in itself is really going to push Phase 4 forward after Infinity War.
Forward?
Oh my god.
So, what do you want to call this podcast? With great responsibility?
We already have one that says that.
No, because we have one that says with great power, ... So this one we call with comes great responsibility.
Sure. Sure.
Sure. So what else? I mean, with Marvel in general, what's the very next Marvel movie?
Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok. So
good.
That's gonna be
giant.
Just because. This is going to be like the first time we really... I mean, like, we saw 2 heroes in Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man and Iron Man. But in Thor Ragnarok, you're going to have Thor, obviously, the Hulk, and Doctor Strange somewhere.
Yeah.
It's really putting in...
Holy shit, Doctor Strange is in it. I keep forgetting that.
Because it puts it in perspective, when the core Avengers movies were coming out, how did the other Avengers not know what was going on?
Well, in Phase 1, it was okay. Because they weren't a team yet. But Phase 2 had that problem.
Yeah.
Especially in Iron Man 3. Thor 2, it was sort of believable, even though at the end there was a giant portal in London shooting a giant, spaceship out of it. I'm just saying, it was a world-ending catastrophic disaster happening, and nobody showed up except for Thor. Yeah. And then in Winter Soldier, Hydra's taking over and helicarriers are firing on people. Where Iron Man couldn't have got there in 5 minutes.
Right. Exactly.
But they're solving that problem in Phase 3.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. It's going to be the first time where more than one hero actually interact for more than 5-10 minutes. I think. Well, Thor Ragnarok could...
Let's kind of go through it. So, Ant-Man was Phase 2, but Ant-Man...
See, that was small enough to where...
It was Falcon, and Falcon was in it, and he showed up at the Avengers compound, but there was nothing that was happening in that movie that the Avengers would have been required to show up.
Yeah.
Then it was Civil War. Obviously, they're all fucking in it because it's Avengers 2.5. And then you have Doctor Strange. You didn't need anybody in that one because it was his story,
and it was another dimension type movie.
You could argue that once was it Hong Kong, once that was getting sucked into a dimensional portal,
but the time stone he backed it up.
Yeah, so you're saying Iron Man could have been on the way. And then it was just frozen.
Exactly. And then he just went back and...
But also with Doctor Strange, I'm still sort of where does this line up in the timeline-wise? Because it's tough. Yeah. I think it's 2016 because one of his awards in his apartment says 2016, which would line it up sort of with Civil War, which when he's in the car and he's listening to his guy tell him about the injuries, you hear about a guy who has a spinal fracture... And
from an experimental...
I think that was probably Rhodey.
Suit.
So it lines up with Civil War slightly. And then after that, you have Guardians. You don't need an Avenger there. And then after that, you have Spider-Man, and Iron Man was in it. And it makes sense because that's Peter's mentor. But so Thor, you're right. Thor will be the first one to really have other Avengers in it and make sense. Right. And like you're just not going to be able to have these solo movies anymore. It's going to be really tough.
Even when Captain Marvel, like when she comes,
they've already said Nick Fury's going to be in it.
Exactly,
which makes sense. I like that. I like that call. It's been a while since we've seen him.
Black Panther.
See, we haven't heard that there's anybody else in Black Panther, but Bucky would make sense
at the end.
Well, I'm just saying it would depend. It would really depend on how. Again, where's the timeline in Black Panther? Are they?
I would say
Are they bouncing the timeline? Like they're going to show his origin a little bit, and they'll show like what's currently going on.
I don't think we're going to. I mean, we're not going to get. Here's what happened, but we're going to see through their culture, their traditions. I'm speculating because I don't know. Obviously, I haven't seen the movie, but
I think they're going to show a little bit of it, like maybe just some flashbacks. Because in the trailer, I am almost convinced and certain that the guy talking in the trailer, after obviously Andy Serkis, is T'Chaka.
Yeah,
his dad. It sounds, and he's talking about being a king and stuff. Now that could be just something in the trailer. But would they really just bring him back to do a trailer over, voiceover? Maybe, but, I would be okay with them. Here's the thing. With Spider-Man, we didn't need his origin again. We didn't. We've seen it twice. I feel like you kind of need to do at least some of it with Black Panther because the mainstream audience does not know Black Panther's origin. The mainstream audience knows Spider-Man, but they do not know Black Panther's origin.
I think the events of Civil War happened before Black Panther, the movie.
Yes, but he was already Black Panther before Civil War.
Right.
He had the mantle of Black Panther, but he wasn't king. His dad was the king, but he was like the warrior, the Black Panther mantle. So if they I'd be fine with just a couple quick little flashbacks, and I think we're going to get a couple flashbacks with Andy Serkis too, using his character because he stole vibranium from them. That was before Age of Ultron.
Yeah. So
he stole all that vibranium from Wakanda. So we're going to have to see that somewhere too.
So do you think this movie is before Ultron?
I think they're just going to time jump. I think they're going to show stuff from before Ultron with Andy Serkis finding the vibranium. And I think that scene in the trailer is when Andy Serkis shows up for the first time. He encounters Black Panther, and doesn't he have like a scratch on his face from Black Panther or something?
He's got his arm cut off.
Well, that was from Ultron.
Yeah. So
I'm saying the scene in the trailer where they're in the jungle and the lights go up to the tree.
Oh yeah,
and you see like Batman style Black Panther up there.
Yeah.
I think that's when he first shows up. Andy Serkis does to steal the vibranium, and he actually does steal it, but he gets out of there like battle worn. Then it's going to jump ahead a little bit more, and and then we'll finally be caught up to the events of post Civil War.
Then when he brought Bucky to be frozen.
So I don't think this movie.
Spoiler alert.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I want Bucky in this movie because I think Black Panther needs to be a Black Panther movie. That's why I said it when I watched the trailer. I don't want this. It's the movie right before Infinity War.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a Infinity War setup movie. This needs to be Black Panther's movie.
Yeah, and I feel like Bucky needs to stay frozen until he's actually needed to become Bucky Cap.
Yeah. And it's like it's the same thing with Spider-Man.
Captain Bucky.
Spider-Man Homecoming. It sort of slightly progressed the events of the MCU, but it didn't like set up anything big in the future. It didn't set up Infinity War. It was a Spider-Man movie. Yeah, it was a Spider-Man story. That's what we need. I hate you.
I'm sorry. Okay. I just farted. I'm sorry.
I am aware. Just.
But yeah, when do you think? Okay. So do you think Cap's gonna die in Infinity War?
Why was that your next question?
Well, because.
You think Sebastian Stan's gonna take the mantle?
Yeah, I do.
I don't think so.
You think it'd be Falcon?
I don't think there will be a Captain America. It's either going to be Chris Evans and he's not going to die and it'll continue on for a little bit longer, or it'll just be done. No more Captain America. Because, look, I love Sebastian Stan and I love Anthony Mackie as their characters, but I don't think the mainstream audience is going to accept them as Captain America. Even I would be fine with it, and I also don't think the mainstream audience would all go out to see a solo movie with them being the star.
Because then it'll just look like he was recasted.
Yeah. And, it would be a soft reboot, but if they're going to do that, they really can't do solo movies for a while of Captain America. It would have to be just him in the Avengers movies. And like I said, I'm okay with them doing that. It's going to be tough to sell and make money with that decision. I think if you kill him, he needs to stay dead. Not comic book dead, like dead, like Quicksilver dead. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Age of Ultron.
Did you see that coming?
Yeah, I bet you didn't see that one coming. He needs to stay dead, or just keep him alive, one or the other. Because Chris Evans is young enough that he could stay alive and keep doing more Avengers movies and stuff and stay as Captain America. Robert Downey Jr. is a little more tough. You're starting to see a little touch of gray in his hair. Like he's getting up there in age.
Well, it's a lot of stress too. I mean,
yeah.
Like that could be part of the makeup and hair. I mean, being Iron Man or being an Avenger is probably really stressful, especially with Tony Stark not actually having like a healing factor or super strength. He just has his technology in his mind.
Yeah. It's kind of like Batman in the Justice League right now. It's like he's surrounded by like
all these young
indestructible bucks. People and young bucks. Yeah, but
all these young bucks.
Had the old bull. I want the young calf. Step Brothers reference.
Segue
into
Step Brothers.
So, what do you think you would define Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther as when it comes to genre films? Because ever since, I would say, Winter Soldier, Marvel's done this really cool thing where their movies aren't just superhero films. They're superhero films mixed with genre X, Y, Z.
Like science fiction or...
Yeah, so like Captain America Winter Soldier, that was like an espionage, spy, political thriller. Then you have Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a space opera. And I don't think the Avengers films are Avengers. Those are comic book movies. And then Ant-Man was a heist movie. What was after Ant-Man? Civil War. Civil War was sort of that same political thriller feel. Yeah. Something like that. And then Doctor Strange, you got magic. It was
like a sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah. So Thor Ragnarok.
Thor.
One, not the other. Like this Thor Ragnarok.
I would say sci-fi fantasy. I wouldn't say space opera like Guardians, but
it's inching close though.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Well, but we don't know because we haven't seen it. I think once we have seen it, we'll be able to define it more.
Well, yeah, but Black Panther, that one's really tough, just based off the trailer.
Yeah. Obviously, with
Black Panther looks like something we've just never seen before
with,
in this
with all
universe.
The Marvel movies, you could classify all of them as action.
Well, yeah, but that's I think a very very subgenre of it. Like you're that's like the first thing you say about it. No, it's an action movie, action adventure. But
action sci-fi.
So after Doctor Strange, you had Guardians of the Galaxy 2, so that was a space opera again, and then you had Spider-Man. Spider-Man was like a teen angst film, or like a high school, like a John Hughes, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like high school film, or
referenced.
Well, they did Ferris Bueller, yeah, but or like a coming of age film.
Yeah,
that would be a good way to describe it. But yeah, Thor is inching towards that Guardians of the Galaxy feel, but we talked about that. It makes sense because people were complaining like, man, this trailer seems a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, damn, that didn't make no sense because it's not like they're in the same universe or anything. Yeah, seriously. Like, it made me so mad when people were like, why are they trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy? I don't know, because maybe they live, like, a block away from them, like, up there in space. Like, they're not that far away, and it's the same universe, so it should have the same color palette. Space should look the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't wait for Jeff Goldblum's character.
I don't know how big he's gonna be though.
I don't know.
Like such a big
He's the
role.
Grandmaster.
Is he gonna be a big role? You think?
I think he'll be a substantial role once Thor gets. There's gonna be a chunk of the movie when Thor gets kind of captured. Which is it's gonna be weird because Thor to us has always been the.
He is the larger than life god of thunder.
Exactly, from down under.
Yeah.
He's from Australia.
Yeah. Thor isn't though, but Chris Hemsworth
No,
is.
but his accent's still very similar. Like,
That's okay.
dude, the Thor Ragnarok might have the best marketing since Deadpool, though. Like with just the little funny videos they're releasing and throwing out there, like Thor with Daryl.
Yeah. Like what Thor was doing during Civil War. That was hilarious. Like, I agree with you. The marketing for that movie has been top notch. Okay, so
I was gonna let you talk for a little while, but like,
no, like you said what I mean. You basically you nailed it.
nailed it. Okay, so we talked about Thor, we talked about Black Panther, we talked about Spider-Man. So we only have one more comic book movie. Well, no, technically Valerian is a comic book movie coming up, but Justice League. Let's kind of shift gears a little bit. Justice League.
All right, cool. Now that we got that out of the way, so back to Spider-Man.
I think it's gonna be great, dude. I mean, I think it's gonna be fantastic.
I hope it is. I really hope it is. DC, they lucked out with Wonder Woman just because the movie itself was wonderfully done. I did not mean to pun there, but it was such a good movie from start to finish. I was on the edge of my seat,
dude. It was so good,
so good. Like we're still talking about it to people.
Oh yeah,
and we saw it how long ago? Like
a month ago.
A month ago?
It was a month. It wasn't that long ago.
But we're still talking about it because it was that good.
It's made more money than any movie in the DCEU so far. So
right. So DC is finally starting to get.
They're on a good upward climb.
Yeah.
Now let's just hope it doesn't drop off.
I wouldn't say they're getting used to their own formula.
Here's the thing: they don't need to follow Marvel's formula. Like, people were like, they should do standalone team movie. No, that's Marvel's thing. Because you know what's going to happen? Even if it works and they do it, what is everybody going to say? Well, they just copied Marvel.
Yeah.
They just copied Marvel.
Everyone tells them to copy Marvel and then gets mad at them copying Marvel.
That's what would happen. That's what all the trolls would do. But look, I only really think they had one misstep. I don't think any of the movies are bad. I don't think any of the movies that they've come out with are bad. Man of Steel, I love that movie.
I do too.
Batman vs. Superman, I really enjoy that movie, especially the Ultimate Edition I love. But I enjoyed the theatrical cut. I enjoyed it. Like, I'm sorry, but if you go into that movie and just can't, like, have some fun, like, you're dead inside.
A little bit. Just a
Just
little bit of
some fun. Especially, like, when Wonder Woman shows up and they're fighting Doomsday. Like, if you're just sitting there going, this movie's stupid, the editing was horrible in the first half, so I'm not even going to watch the rest of this movie. Just come on, man. Like, I had fun in that movie, and that's what I'll say about Suicide Squad. I had fun.
Dude, I'm watched Suicide Squad a lot.
I'm aware of what it is.
I probably watched that movie too much, but then I saw the CinemaSins, and during that, it pointed out stuff that
was like an autopsy.
Yeah, that was an autopsy. But when I kept watching it, like without watching the CinemaSins, I was picking out like, maybe that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Just keep going on and on. Like,
But the biggest thing was when I can't remember the character's name except for Enchantress, but that's not really the character's name, like her alter ego. When she's not Enchantress yet, and she goes down in the cave. She's supposed to be an archaeologist, and the first thing she finds, she just breaks it open. Like, what are you doing? You're horrible at your job.
It's like, a priceless ancient artifact from the monk. Okay, well.
But I'll watch that movie over and over again for a few scenes. Will Smith doing the
Oh my
shooting range
gosh.
as Deadshot with black skinhead playing in the background. The flashback with Deadshot where Batman shows up, which is
That was
so
cool.
cool. All the Joker
Okay,
scenes.
why don't we just get a Deadshot like solo?
No, stop. DC needs to take a step back because every time something people like, they go, "Oh, people like that. Push everything out with that." Like as soon as they've pulled back on this, but as soon as Suicide Squad came out, and everybody loved Harley Quinn. Everybody loved Harley Quinn. They immediately announced a Gotham City Sirens movie, which was going to be like Catwoman, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy. I'm like, you don't even have a Man of Steel 2 or a Batman movie in production yet. Slow your roll. Focus on what's ahead of you right now. The next movie, make that good. Don't be like, all right, we got 3 phases ready. Marvel can do that. They've earned the right. You guys have to take your time.
It's what I've been saying from the beginning about DC. Because I like their comic books. I love their characters.
Yes,
but
they deserve better.
Take your time and give us the best movie you can. Don't make a crappy theatrical version and then say, but if you get our extended director's cut, it'll make sense now. No, just
let your directors direct, actors act, and writers write. Take a step back.
And your fans consume.
Yeah, take a step back.
It writes itself if you let it.
Oh my God.
If you just let it, it writes itself. Quote me on that.
So if you count the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs. Superman, I love, LOVE, 3 out of the 4 movies they've come out with. And like I said, none of them are bad. Like, are some better than others? Yes. Are some just like fun movies to put on and there's not a whole lot of substance? Absolutely.
Green Lantern.
No, just the 4 that we got. DCEU. Like I'm talking about Suicide Squad. It's just like, is there substance? Not really. Is it a lot of fun? Absolutely, it's a lot of fun. I had so much fun watching that movie. Was it their Guardians of the Galaxy? Yes, that's what they were going for. But Justice League, I think we're gonna get another trailer for Comic-Con. I think we're gonna get another one.
It's like that meme where when you want to copy your friend's homework, it's like, we'll just change a couple things so it doesn't look like you copied.
Suicide Squad.
From Guardians to Suicide Squad.
That'd be a good meme. We should make that.
It's already been made. Because I've seen it.
Oh, okay. So, never mind. But
or now someone will. I mean,
I'm just so curious because this movie's, I don't know what it's going to be like, Justice League, because I don't know how much the new director has changed. So you got, Zack Snyder obviously had to step down from directing because his daughter sadly committed suicide. So he had to step down, and Joss Whedon is taking the mantle. But he's really only coming in for the reshoots. Mm-hmm. It was pretty much done. And now he's just coming in for the reshoots and probably the most important part, the editing process. So putting the movie together.
Right.
Because Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon could put the movie together in a completely different order. So we don't know what we're going to get.
But I think the movie's in good hands with Joss Whedon.
Absolutely. Like, that's, imagine that on your resume. I mean, to be like, because he's technically the director, like, I directed the Avengers and Justice League.
Yeah.
Like, you coached the all-star teams of the East and the West.
Pretty much. But do you think we'll be able to tell, like, oh yeah, this is totally a Joss Whedon film?
I don't know. I think we might be able to tell this is a Joss Whedon scene, like a reshoot, like in the reshoots when they like do some reshoots for different scenes.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to tell if the tone shifts slightly.
Yeah,
this was a Joss Whedon.
Because
reshoot.
what I don't want is when you watch the Justice League, and then you have an Avengers tone scene.
Look, I'd be fine with that if the whole movie's like that. But if the whole movie's like...
Well, then why not just watch Avengers again?
Oh my God. If the whole movie... Look, we're already getting like Flash as Peter Parker and Bruce Wayne as Tony Stark. We're already getting that relationship. So, if we're going to call it out as... Look, they could copy them scene for scene. But if it's
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
Whatever.
Like, there's a formula with these team-up movies, and they got to realize that. They can't just show up. But I think they're taking what I've seen, and this is speculation on the trailers. It seems like they're taking their time with this one. They're making it good. I'm excited about Aquaman. I'm really excited about the new Flash. Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman. Like, he is so comic book, grizzled, old, war-driven Batman. Obviously, we love Wonder Woman. Cyborg, I'm still on the fence about. I'm not sure how I feel about Cyborg yet, because we really haven't gotten anything of Cyborg.
We shall see.
Yep, and then Superman's got to come back at some point. Keep him out of the trailers.
Oh, duh.
I don't. You say duh? Doomsday.
You're right.
Like
Yeah.
that should have been duh. Like, man,
Doomsday.
should we? Like, what was going on in that room? Like, should we give away the third act in the trailer? You know what? Run it. Let's shake things up.
Or they probably said, you know what? Why don't we save Doomsday for the movie itself? Let's not put him in the trailers. And then someone with a big schlong was like, "Nope, we're doing it. Put him in the put him in the trailer."
Wrong.
That's fake news.
It's a fake trailer.
Fake trailer.
That would have been like the first Avengers trailer. They show Bruce Banner walking up to the giant alien saying, "I'm always angry," and then turning to the Hulk and punching it. Then immediately following that, showing the circle shot of the team. We would have been like, "Oh, that's cool." But what the
why?
fuck?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't we get that in the trailer? Or why did we get that in the movie instead?
But why? Exactly.
Or I'm trying to think, like Civil War. It's like, you just hear, "Did you know? I didn't know it was him. Don't bullshit me, Rogers. Did you know?"
Yeah.
Like, and he killed, like, it shows him
that
that
would have been
Bucky
awful.
kills his parents. Like,
Ugh.
like, why ruin your third act? I don't think they will. I think they may show him in a poster, which I'm okay. Look, Superman's alive. Superman's come back. It's pretty obvious. The dirt rose. Do you think he'll have the black suit? The black suit.
Black suit.
Like when he comes back, like when he's reborn, and like after Doomsday beat him in the comics, it's like the silver Superman symbol and like the black regeneration suit. That would be cool.
I don't know.
Remember, he comes back and he's got like the mullet almost, like the really long hair.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I don't know though, because I feel like as a color palette for the Justice League, it's very dark.
I don't know. The trailers seem like it's a little more light. Like they're adding some color back. Like Wonder Woman, you definitely saw that they added some color back. I think they're listening to the fans on that. And that's why, you know what? I had a conversation with my buddy after Spider-Man Homecoming, and we were talking about it's the same day and age, so it's not like they don't have the technology, and they probably use the same technology, but why is it when Marvel uses CGI, it looks way more real than when DC uses CGI? Like, even in Wonder Woman, when she's doing those big leaps, it looks fake. I mean, I can tell that looks pretty fake. Like, when she's doing the triple backflip 360 whatever, it's like, but when Spider-Man does it, it looks real. And we were talking, it seems to me it's because of the color palette. You can blend it in better if the world itself looks real.
Yeah.
But if the world itself looks dark and drabby and not like a real universe, because the DC universe itself is way more of a comic book universe than the Marvel universe is. It's comic booky.
Yes. Okay, now I understand what you're saying. Because, like, in Marvel, they're in New York.
That's my thing. That's why I love Marvel, because Marvel, when I watch those movies, it feels like they're happening, like somewhere else. Like, it feels like my world right now.
But in DC, they're in Gotham. In
Metropolis.
Yeah, Metropolis. Like
Central City.
Central City.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're in these
But that's okay.
cities. Yeah, that's their thing. But why don't we establish, because you can't just have you can just throw a city out there and have everything's important when you're telling a story. If one thing isn't important, none of it's important. It has to all mean something. It has to all be important. It goes back to that joke, like, oh, do aliens just think we all live in New York because that's where all the attacks happen or something?
Or Washington, D.C.
Or Washington, D.C. or something like that.
Exactly. I feel like in the DC universe, the only states that exist are Kentucky and Kansas.
Right now.
Yeah, because they're like, Kansas is where Superman's from, and then like Kentucky was where that senator was from Batman v Superman. Like, that's it. Everything else, it's like Metropolis, Gotham.
Where are they in relation to each other?
They're right. Remember, because they're right across the bay. Now in the comics, that's completely different. They're not like that. But in the movie universe now, Metropolis is here, and then right across the bay is Gotham. They're sister cities, which you know what? A lot of people didn't like that. I thought that was a cool idea. Make like this is the darky drab city, and this is like this is uptown Chicago. This is downtown Chicago. Like Gotham being downtown Chicago.
Right.
Exactly.
And then Suicide Squad was down south, wasn't it?
I can't. Was Suicide Squad in an actual city, or was it another fake city? I can't remember. My mind's telling me it was a fake comic book city that I can't remember.
I can look it up now.
Yeah.
But I know it was in the south, like south of Kentucky.
Really?
In Louisiana or something. I could be.
Yeah, I feel like you're scooping bullshit right now.
I'm scooping up some bullshit right now.
It's,
Hold on.
Who says that?
Hold on.
Who says that? Wrong.
You keep talking.
Wrong.
Not like that, though.
You're fake. Fake news. Yeah, but with the Marvel world, whenever I watch those movies, I'm like, this could happen. This could be real. Because the world feels real. Like, this is going on right now while I'm watching this movie. This is like a live stream.
Midway City.
Yes, it reminded me a lot of like a zombie game. What was the city from was it Resident Evil? Is that Raccoon City?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Midway City. Yeah, that's a fake city. That's a comic book city.
Where in Midway City is the DC universe? Or where
in the DC universe?
Where is Midway City in the DC universe?
I think that's like a comic book city. I don't think that's a real thing. I mean, I'm sure there's a city called Midway City somewhere, but I think what they did in the movie was a very comic book location. Did you find it?
I'm just trying to skip to where. No, this website's stupid.
This website sucks.
Check your
We need a
sources.
producer
We need a Jamie.
just to look up shit for us.
Pull that shit up, Jamie.
So we're not just bullshitting our audience right now.
Film series, government, Amanda Waller. She was awful. God, I hated her.
But that was the
She's
point.
good.
That was the point. You were supposed to hate Amanda Waller. That's a really good actress playing her. But the last scene in Suicide Squad's pretty dope, though. I mean, it's technically an after-credit scene, I guess. Was it technically an after-credit scene? It was like at the very end, whatever.
It was after the credits.
Like the first roll of credits, not the entire credits, but when Bruce Wayne's eating dinner with Amanda Waller and she goes, "You should stop working nights. Like, you look tired or whatever." And he just turns around and goes, "You should shut it down. My team will handle it." Oh my god. That's when I first started getting hyped for Justice League. I'm like, oh, okay. This is getting real.
I tried to type in where is Midway City, and it's in California, but it's an actual city.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm wrong.
Look,
Whatever.
it's just Midway City is a comic book city in the DC universe. It's not a real place that you can look up.
I was just trying to find like where in the DC universe it is.
Like, I don't even know. I'm sure there's certain comic books that show you where Gotham and Metropolis really are.
Where's Green Arrow City?
Is that Starling City?
Starling City. Where is that in relation?
There's no such thing as a relation to anything in the DC universe right now. There's no, hey, Starling City right outside of Jacksonville, Florida. Like, they don't do that.
Okay. You don't have to be a jerk.
Sorry. Like, they're fake. It's not real. Green Arrow is not real. Batman is fake. Fake
I
news.
know.
Wrong.
Oh my god. I know they're fictional characters, but in the universe, the DC universe, there has to be a map.
Yeah, but they just haven't ever given it to us. At least in the show or the movie. Don't look that up. Stop.
Well, now I'm going to because you told me not to.
Oh my god.
Just keep talking. It's fine.
Now I have nothing to talk about. I'm just mad at you.
DC universe.
Well, while he's looking this up, I'm going to go ahead and plug our shirts one last time. So remember, you guys can just go to iconiccomic.com and you can press our store button, and from there you can pre-order your Iconic Comic t-shirt. Those pre-orders are going to go till July 20th. You're going to save $5 if you pre-order. Otherwise, you'll have to pay the full price. So go check that out, iconiccomic.com. Go click the store button. Did you find anything?
Yeah, it's a really cool map, but I'm not going to show you because you don't deserve to know.
Oh my god.
Oh man, what else, man?
Man.
What else?
I don't know. You want to wrap this thing up?
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Dude, bro.
All right. So, if you guys enjoyed episode 5 of the On Your Left podcast with Iconic Comic, make sure you guys subscribe to us on iTunes, and now you can do it on the Google Play Store, so you can check us out on there if you are a Android user. But if you're on YouTube, you can like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe,
so you guys don't miss a single thing from our channel. Again, t-shirts are up, folks. Go check them out. They're awesome.
Make sure you stay tuned.
Stay iconic.
And cue music.
Holy Grail.